Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
The office was buzzing with the low hum of keyboards and printers when it happened. I had been staring at the bright screen for hours, my chest tightening in a way I told myself was just stress. A headache throbbed behind my eyes, but I pushed through. It wasn't the first time. I couldn't stop, not when there were bills waiting at home. Bills that weren't even mine. I stood up to grab a folder from the printer, and the world tilted. A sharp pain speared through my chest, then everything dissolved into black. When I opened my eyes, it wasn't the ceiling of my office I saw. It was cold lights above me, wires trailing across my body. Beeping. Tubes. A nurse leaned over with calm urgency, adjusting a drip. "You're awake," she said softly. "Don't try to move." What? What happened? My voice came out hoarse, barely a whisper. "You collapsed at work. It was your heart. You're in the ICU now. You're very lucky your coworkers acted fast." She paused, her expression flickering with hesitation. "We contacted your parents. They're your emergency contact." My chest tightened for a different reason. And they didn't come. Her eyes darted away. "But someone did post a picture online. Your sister, right?" My fingers trembled as I reached for my phone. Notifications glared back at me. A Facebook tag. Rebecca's smiling face. Our parents beside her, gathered around a dinner table. Her caption read, "Everything is wonderful in our family." The words blurred as hot tears stung my eyes. Wonderful. While I lay half dead in a hospital bed, they were eating deviled eggs and smiling for the camera. A nurse checked the machines again. "Do you want me to call them again?" "Maybe they." "No." My voice cracked, but the answer was final. I turned my screen face down on the tray and closed my eyes. Something inside me shifted, quietly, like a door closing. Not anger, not even shock. Just the quiet certainty that whatever family meant to them, I wasn't part of it. The machines beeped steadily, keeping me alive. But it wasn't gratitude I felt. It was absence. For the first time, I realized I wasn't waiting for them anymore. I was utterly alone. Lying in that hospital bed, I realized collapse didn't happen in a single moment. It had been building for years, piece by piece, until my body finally surrendered. The bills. Always the bills. Rent that wasn't mine, utility payments I covered because my parents were short again, college tuition my sister refused to take seriously. I was the dependable one, the golden mule carrying everyone else's burdens. And the truth was, I had bent so long under their weight that I forgot what it felt like to stand tall. A soft knock pulled me from my thoughts. My coworker Daniel slipped in, holding a bag of fruit. His eyes widened when he saw me. "God, you look pale. You scared the hell out of us." "I scared myself too," I admitted with a bitter laugh. "Guess my body gave up before my mind did." Daniel pulled a chair closer. "Listen, the doctors said stress was a factor. You've been doing too much. Working late, skipping meals." "Why?" I hesitated. No one had asked me that before. Not really. Because if I stop, everything falls apart. My parents can't handle money. My sister refuses to. If I don't keep paying, they'll drown. He frowned, shaking his head. "And what about you? Aren't you drowning?" His words stung because they were true. I had given everything, my salary, my health, even my pride, to keep my family afloat. And yet, when I needed them most, they chose dinner plates over me. I looked at Daniel, forcing a weak smile. Maybe I was foolish to think I could carry everyone forever. The room fell silent except for the rhythmic beeping. But in that silence, a seed of something unfamiliar stirred in me. Not guilt, not fear. Something heavier, sharper. A week after my collapse, I returned home still weak, but determined to peel away the layers of my family's silence. I immediately expressed my resentment to my parents for treating me this way, not even bothering to call, let alone come to the hospital. I tried not to talk to them anymore. Madison, my younger sister, had been oddly quiet since. No calls, no visits, only the occasional cryptic text, short, clipped responses that felt rehearsed. One evening, I walked past her half-open bedroom door. Her voice floated out in a hurried whisper. "I told you she won't find out. She thinks I'm broke, like always." My pulse quickened. I pushed the door wider. Madison jumped, clutching her phone like it was a lifeline. "Who was that?" I demanded. "No one. Just a friend." Her eyes darted, avoiding mine. I stepped inside, my gaze sweeping over the pile of shopping bags on her bed. Designer labels glared back at me, handbags, shoes, jewelry. My stomach nodded. You said you couldn't pay tuition, that you were drowning. Madison, where did all this come from? She crossed her arms, defiant. It's my life. You don't need to know everything. I held up one of the receipts. $2,000, paid in cash. Where did you get this kind of money? Her mask cracked for a split second. Guilt flickered, then hardened into resentment. Maybe if you weren't always playing savior, you'd notice other people have their own ways of surviving. Her words sliced through me. All those nights I covered her debts, skipped meals to pay her tuition, believing she was helpless. Yet here was proof. Madison had secrets, and they were wrapped in silk and diamonds. I whispered, more to myself than her, so all this time I was breaking myself while you were living a double life. Madison didn't answer. She just turned away, the silence between us heavier than any truth spoken aloud. And in that silence, I realized the weight I carried wasn't just financial. It was the weight of lies. The next morning, I didn't wake with fear. I woke with fire. For too long, I worked myself to exhaustion to keep everyone else going. Madison's secrets were no longer mine to shield, and if my parents refused to see the truth, then I would make them. I waited until dinner, our weekly family gathering. The table gleamed with polished cutlery, but beneath the surface, tension brewed like a storm. Madison smiled sweetly, as if nothing had ever happened. So, my mother began, Madison's been under such stress with her studies. You really should continue helping her financially. It's what family does. My fork clattered against the plate. I met Madison's eyes, steady and unflinching. Family doesn't lie. The family extends a helping hand when one of its members dies in the hospital. Family doesn't bleed one member dry while secretly living in luxury. She froze. My father frowned. What are you talking about? I reached into my bag and laid out the receipts I had gathered, shoes, jewelry, handbags worth thousands. While I collapsed from exhaustion, Madison was shopping like a queen. She told you she was broke, and you believed her. I carried her burdens while she carried secrets. Madison's face drained of color. You had no right to go through my things. You had no right to use me like an endless wallet, I snapped back. For the first time, silence filled the table. My parents looked between us, their loyalty visibly wavering. My mother's lips parted, searching for an excuse, but none came. I'm done, I said, my voice shaking but certain. No more tuition, no more rent, no more lies. If Madison wants her double life, she can pay for it herself. I stood my chair scraping loudly against the floor. Madison's glare followed me, but it no longer had power. I canceled all monthly payments for utilities, rent, loan repayments, and of course, Madison's education. Immediately, I felt much lighter in my heart and soul, and that I realized was my retaliation. I escaped to the lake cabin that weekend, a place I rented untouched by family lies. The air was crisp, pine-scented, and the water stretched calm and endless before me. For the first time in months, my chest didn't ache with weight for other people's payment debts. I built a fire, its crackle filling the silence, and let my thoughts settle. The betrayal of parents and Madison. It had nearly broken me. But here I could breathe. Here I could reclaim myself. As the flames danced, my phone buzzed. A message from Madison. You've ruined everything. They're finally seeing me for who I am. Are you happy now? I stared at the screen before replying, no, I'm free now. That's enough. The reply never came. Later, as I stood on the deck overlooking the lake, the stars reflected like scattered diamonds across the water. My father's words echoed faintly, accusations, disappointment, but they no longer reached me. The cabin, humble yet strong, felt like a mirror of who I was becoming, scarred, weathered, but still standing. I whispered into the night, this is my beginning, not my end. And as the wind rippled the surface of the lake, I felt it answer me, soft but certain. Months have passed since I left my toxic family. I did not return to my parents' house, nor did I ever answer Madison's bitter texts again. I chose silence, and in that silence, I found peace. I moved closer to the lake, taking a modest apartment with wide windows that let the light pour in each morning. Work became more than survival, it became purpose. My colleagues no longer saw the girl who collapsed at her desk, but a woman who had risen from the weight of betrayal. Sometimes I catch my reflection and almost don't recognize her. Calmer eyes, steadier hands, a softer smile. Family, I've learned, is not always blood. It is the life we choose and the peace we protect. And for the first time, I chose me.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.